Welcome to the Nevis newscast for Wednesday, April 29th, 2020. I'm Fredicia Liebert. The 7 members of the Nevis COVID-19 Compliance Task Force were introduced on Monday, April 27th, 2020.
The Compliance Task Force is made up of 7 agencies, and at this time I'd like to do an introduction of the officers. From the Department of Environmental Health, we have Ms. Risa Paul. From the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force, we have Constable Kevin Davis. From the Custom and Excise Department, we have Mr. Corwin Maynard. From the Department of Consumer Affairs, we have Mr. Avery Busu. From the Department of Labor, we have Mr. Ishan Todman. From Public Infrastructure, with an emphasis on transportation, we have Mr. Curtis Morton Sr. And from the Fire and Rescue Services, we have Mr. Garfield Hodge. These are the members of the Nevis Compliance Task Force to enforce the SRNO number 15 of 20.
Co-chair of the Nevis COVID-19 Task Force, Brian Dyer, also implored persons to adhere to the regulations of the statutory rules and orders.
With regards to the Compliance Task Force, the SRNO number 15 of 20, specifically Chapter 7 and Chapter 15, Chapter 7 deals with the physical distancing, 6 feet, and Chapter 15 deals specifically with the wearing of masks. So I do implore the general public to ensure that they wear their masks as per the SRO number 15.
Co-chair of the Nevis COVID-19 Task Force, Brian Dyer. The Ministry of Education has committed more than $80,000 to assist nationals studying abroad who cannot return home due to the COVID-19 pandemic. That's according to Federal Minister of Education, the Honorable Sean Richards, during Tuesday night's edition of Leadership Matters. He said the government will be providing financial assistance to more than 80 students abroad for the next 3 months. Today at the Ministry of Education, we wrote checks to the tune of 83,000 EC dollars. $83,000 to 83 students, which would equate to $1,000 per student. That is support that we intend to give to those other students over the next 3 months, he said. He said this is only part of the government's financial assistance plan, as more than $100,000 in total is expected to be dispersed to students overseas. On a separate note, Minister Richards noted that the flight chartered to bring home 53 nationals studying in Jamaica would not cost the students 1 cent. The cost to the government for doing so is $75,000 US, or approximately 203,000 EC dollars. He said the students are due to return home on Thursday of this week. And let me point out that government is undertaking the full cost of this initiative. Therefore, the students are not expected to pay anything towards the cost of this charter flight coming out of Jamaica on Thursday. Minister Richards said the checks for the overseas students are expected to be dispersed on Thursday. Essential workers in Nevis are being advised not to venture out unless they are on official duty. The call comes from Superintendent Lyndon David, commander of the Nevis Division of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force.
We are experiencing some challenges with essential workers, wherein some may be using their vehicles and taking other people from point A to point B. And then when you should be off the road, you might want to use that as an excuse to be on the road. If you are not on official duty, you should not be on the road. I will say to you, I myself as division officer, if I'm not on official duty, I stay where I'm supposed to be. So I want to encourage everyone, whether you are essential worker or you have a permit to be on the road, you are to do it within the period and the purpose for which you were deemed an essential person or for which the permit or pass was issued.
Still to come, Chief Medical Officer laws on proper fit and maintenance of face masks. The details right after this break.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Help us take care of me so I could take care of you. This is a crucial time, no time for mistakes.
You stay at home for us.
Help us. Take care of me so we could take care of you.
Please wash your hands.
Be responsible and stay at home.
You can save lives only when you comply.
Play your part, save a life, stay at home.
We are exposed to everything for you.
Maintain social distancing.
I stay at work for you.
Help us to help you. Please stay at home. We stayed at work for you. You stay at home for us.
Stay updated by following the Health Promotion Unit on Facebook and Instagram or contact us at 469-8010.
Welcome back. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws addressed the concern raised about the proper fit and maintenance of face masks during the National Emergency Operations Center's COVID-19 daily briefing on Monday, April 27, 2020. Dr. Laws advised that masks must be worn appropriately while in public places.
So we advise persons when in public spaces to wear your mask as directed, in terms of it should be covering your nose and your mouth, and it should be properly tied behind your ears or behind your neck. And that's the first point. And two, the masks are either disposable, in terms of you should dispose of the mask properly after each use, or if it's the homemade or locally made cloth mask, they should be washed at the end of every day. All right, and so the masks, if they are locally made from fabric, they should be washed at the end of every day.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Hazel Laws. The temporary suspension of the liquor license for retailers such as bar and shop owners is designed to reduce the opportunities for the public to congregate. This, in turn, decreases the risk of spreading the coronavirus. COVID-19 is spread when the respiratory droplets from an infected individual come into contact with another person and get into their eyes, nose, or mouth. To reduce the potential of catching the virus, health authorities recommend persons wear face masks and maintain a distance of 6 feet from other persons when in public. Superintendent Cromwell Henry of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force said it is not very easy, if at all possible, to maintain the 6 feet distance in a bar when persons are drinking alcohol. Alcohol suppresses the central nervous system and impairs one's ability to judge distances, among other things. Hence the restriction at retail licensed premises. The intention of the regulation concerning the sale of alcohol is not to restrict the consumption or sale of alcohol generally. This is why wholesale liquor is still available for sale at supermarkets and other companies. The senior law enforcement officer said that wholesalers do not allow the consumption of alcohol on their premises, and this is the chief reason why their license remains active. During his presentation at the National Emergency Operations Center daily briefing on Tuesday, April 28, 2020, Superintendent Henry read out a section of the Liquor License Act. To sell wholesale means to sell liquor in any quantity of not less than 1 pint to be consumed off or away from the premises. To sell retail means to sell liquor in any quantity to be consumed on or away from the premises, he stated. He noted that the Act defines liquor as brandy, whiskey, rum, gin, wines, liquors, beer, porter, cider, and all potable spirituous, alcoholic, malt, and fermented liquors of any kind or sort whatsoever, but shall not include bay water and bay rum. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Fredicia Liburd. Thank you for viewing.
Covering the cup. No cup in the ever like this. The coronavirus is bad. So there is one thing we can do. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands.
Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. To keep away the flu, there is one thing we must do. Wash our hands, wash our hands, wash our hands.